everyone. We got Cat and Lil Man here. Yes. Did you spot thief me while I went and changed? Huh. Yeah. He's giving those I could do it, mama, little baby licks. Huh. I see that. I could. Thank you. Give me sweet boy kisses. Thank you. Thank you. And then there's even a big girl. I think she's a little suspicious. So, but it's Monday, and y'all know what that means. Grim tales, and oh, this lighting it's really hard to see, but we're a little flowery because if it's gonna be below freezing and you're not even gonna pretend to give me snow, like literally the high for today is below freezing. We were in the teens, huh? But it's not even pretending to be overcast. We have zero chance of snow, which is rude. So we're gonna pretend it's springtime, and I'm gonna be blinded. Yes, and I'm gonna blind y'all with my pastiness and my white shirt as we settle in and read us a new Grimm tale. You gonna settle in, little man? You gonna read with me? What do we have today? Huh? What's our tale? That's gonna be Sweetheart Roland. I have no idea what this one's about. I have never even heard of this one. Have you? No, you haven't either. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a woman who was a real witch. Well, that's a nice way of putting it. And she had two daughters, one ugly and evil, whom she loved because she was her own daughter, and the other beautiful and good, whom she hated because she was her stepdaughter. At one time, the stepdaughter had a beautiful apron that the other daughter liked and coveted so much out of envy that she told her mother she wanted the apron and had to have it. Be quiet, my child, said the old woman. You shall have it as soon as your stepsister has long since deserved to die. And tonight, when she's asleep, I'll come and chop off her head. Just make sure that you lie on the far side of the bed and push her toward the front. That would have been the end of the poor maiden had she not been standing in a corner and listening to everything. That day she was not allowed to go outside at all, and when bedtime came, the witch's daughter climbed into bed first so she could lie down on the far side. But after she fell asleep, the sister pushed her gently toward the front and took her place on the far side, next to the wall. During the night, the old woman crept into the room. She held an axe in her right hand and with her left hand felt around to see if someone was actually lying up front. Then she gripped the axe with both hands and began chopping until she chopped off her own child's head. Well, that's one way to get rid of the evil line. Now you just gotta take out the mama. When she left the room, the maiden stood up and went to her sweetheart, whose name was Roland, and knocked at his door. When he came outside, she said to him, Listen, dearest Roland, we must flee in haste. My stepmother tried to kill me, but she killed her own daughter instead. When the sun rises and she sees what she's done, we'll be lost. Before we go, you better take her magic wand first, Roland said. Otherwise, we won't be able to escape if she comes after us. The maiden fetched the magic wand, and she also took her dead sister's head and left 3 drops of blood on the floor, one in front of the bed, one in the kitchen, and one on the stairs. Then she hurried away with her sweetheart. Now, when the witch got up the next morning, she called her daughter and wanted to give her the apron. She did not come. I wonder why. Where are you? She cried out. Here I am, on the stairs, sweeping, answered one of the drops of blood. The old woman went out, but saw no one on the stairs, and called out once again, Where are you? Here I am, in the kitchen, warming myself, said the second drop of blood. The old woman went to the kitchen, but she found no one there, and called once again, Where are you? Here I am, in bed, sleeping, the third drop of blood cried. The old woman went into the room and approached the bed. Yet what did she see but her own daughter swimming in blood? and it was the witch herself who had chopped off her head. The old woman became furious and rushed to the window. Since she could see quite far into the world, she spotted her stepdaughter fleeing with her sweetheart Roland. "That won't help you," she exclaimed. "Even though you've had a head start, you'll never escape me." She put on her 7 league boots, in which she covered an hour's walk in one step, and it did not take her long before she had overtaken them. However, when the maiden saw the old woman coming, she used a magic wand to turn her sweetheart Roland to a lake and herself into a duck that swam in the middle of the lake. The witch stood on the shore, threw breadcrumbs in the water, and tried her best to lure the duck to shore. The duck would not let itself be enticed, and by nightfall the old woman had to turn back without having accomplished anything. I guess witches and vampires are, stymied by some water, huh? Is that why they're so green and gross they haven't bathed ever? Meanwhile, the maiden and her sweetheart resumed their natural forms and continued walking the whole night through until daybreak. Then the maiden changed herself into a beautiful flower growing in the middle of a briar hedge, and her sweetheart was changed into a fiddler. Yeah? Do I need some lovies? Are you gonna be my sweetheart? Huh? Okay. Shortly after, the witch came striding along and said to the fiddler, "Dear fiddler, may I pluck the beautiful flower?" "Of course," he answered, "and I'll play a tune while you're doing it." He's gonna let his girlfriend get plucked. He's not very much of a sweetheart. That's kind of death to flowers. Since she knew who the flower was, she quickly crawled into the hedge to pluck it. However, he began to play a tune, and willy-nilly she was compelled to dance because it was a magic melody. The faster he played, the more violent were the jumps she was forced to make, and the thorns tore the clothes from her body and scratched her so that blood flowed from the wounds. Since the fiddler did not let up, she had to keep dancing until she fell to the ground dead. Once they were free, Roland said, "Now I'll go to my father and arrange for the wedding." "In the meantime, I'll stay here and wait for you," said the maiden. "Just to make sure that nobody recognizes me, I'll turn myself into a red stone." Roland departed, and the maiden lay in the field as a red stone and waited for her sweetheart. However, when Roland returned home, he was ensnared by another woman, who made him forget the maiden. Meanwhile, the poor maiden stayed in the field a long time, but when he failed to come back, she grew sad, turned herself into a flower, and thought, "Someone will surely come along and trample me." Honey, he ain't worth it. Not even close. It's not like he's a puppy. He's just a human boy. It so happened that a shepherd was tending his sheep on the field and saw the flower. Since it was so beautiful, he plucked the flower, took it with him, and tucked it away in a chest. From that time on, amazing things began to happen in the shepherd's cottage. When he got up in the morning, all the work would already be done. The curse of the reading tales. They always make me want to take a nap. When he got up in the morning, all the work would already be done. The room would be swept clean, the table and benches would be dusted, and the fire on the hearth would be made, and water would be inside. At noon, when he came home, the table would be set, and a good meal would be served. He could not figure out how all this was happening, for he never saw a living soul, and his cottage was too small for anyone to hide in. Of course, he liked the good service, but eventually he became frightened and went to a wise woman to ask for her advice. "There's magic behind all this," the wise woman said. "You must get up very early some morning and keep a lookout for anything that moves. Then, if you see something, no matter what it is, quickly throw a white cloth over it. That will hold the magic in check." The shepherd did as she told him, and on the following morning, right at daybreak, he saw the chest open and the flower come out. In the wink of an eye, he ran over and threw a white cloth over the flower, and suddenly the transformation came to an end. A beautiful maiden stood before him, and she confessed that she had been the flower and had kept house for him. Then she told him about her adventures, and since he took a liking to her, he asked her to marry him. However, she answered no because she wanted to remain true to her sweetheart Roland. Idiot. Even though he had forsaken her. Still, she promised the shepherd that she would remain there and continue to keep house for him. Now the time had come for Roland to celebrate his wedding. According to the old custom of the country, a proclamation was issued, and all the girls were to gather together at the wedding and sing in honor of the bridal pair. I'd never met you, or you cheated on me, and I gotta come sing for you? Actually, that would be a good punishment, because, yeah, my singing, I'm pretty sure, counts as capital punishment, especially if there's not enough loud music to cover it up. When the faithful maiden heard about this, she grew so sad that she thought her heart would burst. She did not want to go to the wedding, but the other girls came and took her with them. Whenever her turn came to sing, she would step back, but finally she was the only one left and was obliged to sing a song. I can think of a few appropriate ones. As she began to sing and her voice reached Roland's ears, he jumped up and exclaimed, I know that voice. That's my true bride. I don't want anyone else. You're already at your wedding. I think it's a bit late, honey. Everything that he had forgotten and everything that had vanished from his mind suddenly filled his heart again. So the faithful maiden married her sweetheart Roland. Her sorrows came to an end just as her joy began to flourish. Well, that was a sappy, stupid ending. But otherwise, that was kind of fun. I do love the nice karma on the witch. And we had a cute little man, and ooh, we got a sleepy big girl. So the story might have been a little sketchy, but at least we got some puppies. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that, and I will see you soon. Bye. Happy reading.